Tuesday was Gen X's revenge on lefty boomers. Now, I said lefty boomers. If you are...
Why did she say Gen X is taking revenge on the boomers with the election? Let's see what's up.
What a scoundrel, gassed up a town fool to go rob the crown jewel. He's like a Lego megalomaniac who's into electronic and techno, a real brainiac. Smack dab in the hip-hop gold rush. If you rather the old stuff, preferably the cold crush. It gets deeper than Deep Pack Chopper, except he keeps...
Are a boomer, are you a lefty boomer? If you are not a lefty boomer, this is not applicable to you. So I made this point. Make hose water great again. How the...
Make hose water great again. I love it. That says it all right there for me. In the video. That's enough I need. That's all I need right there. Make hose water great again. All right. So in case you didn't know, the title of this video is Why Generation X Put Trump in the White House. We sure the hell did. We sure the hell did. And we got others to team up with us and help get it done. And now we getting all this done. We got, I'm Gen X too, by the way. We got tired of this pussy crybaby ass handout society, everything getting expensive. The craziness. It was the straight craziness. Couldn't take that shit no more. Nah. If you liberal, you had to get up out of there. Look at all the big cities in the United States. All the liberal big cities have major problems. Everybody's got problems, but they got major problems. Major. Look at Chicago. Look at LA. Come on now. That's just the start. Those are the biggest ones. Look at New York. Seattle. We'll go smaller. Atlanta. I don't know if Atlanta is smaller than Seattle, but they're definitely smaller than New York and LA. All right, let's get you up.
Latchkey kids raised on hose water saved America. And I went over the respondents, breaking it down by age and how it was Gen X that made it happen.
Yep.
That was the generation that was significantly red this election cycle. And I cited a bunch of stuff as well. And I talked about how, you know, and I was at the tail end of Gen X, still Gen X nonetheless. I mean, I've died of dysentery so many times on the Oregon Trail. Please stop. Like, I earned my stripes.
Dysentery on the Oregon Trail. Yo, that is early gaming for those who don't know. Early PC gaming, the Oregon Trail. I completely forgot about that. Oh, green letters, cheap looking. It was less than 16. I think it was like 5-bit or something like that. It was before 8-bit was even popular. Like, it's crazy.
It's okay. And Saturday morning cartoons were still a thing.
Man, I miss Saturday morning cartoons. They don't even do that no more.
Right? The internet existed at the end of my high school, but everything else, I did not have social media. It was a very glorious social media-less existence.
Man, wasn't it?
And I wrote, because I was a latchkey kid, the product of divorce, one of the favorite pastimes of the previous generation. And it's true, statistically. You know, we rode in the back of pickups and we rode bikes without dorky-looking helmets. We didn't have helicopter parents. My mom used to, the opposite, in fact. My mom used to send me into the store to buy our Marlboros.
Ha! Marlboros was the shit. That and Newports. I used to go to the store for a neighbor lady. She used to smoke tons of Marlboros, but she tipped good. Hey, when you 10, 11 years old, them tips come in nice when you're trying to get some now-laters and some Chico sticks. I'm telling you. Couple dollars go a long way back in the 80s.
And they didn't card me.
Nope.
It was a really wild
You go to the store with a note from whoever wanted the cigarettes.
honor system, you know.
And the stores would give you credit if they knew who the family was. You know, that store credit type stuff. The whole hometown family feel type of deal.
We had no idea of this concept of being offended. We would numerically we would spell boobs on our calculator.
8008.
8005. You know how to do that.
No,
800085.
Yeah.
And if
there
you
go.
talk smack, you got your ass kicked. Nobody litigated that beef outside of the playground or outside of the gym, right?
We had games called Yellow Jacket and Open Chess. Man, they both ended up having you getting punched. If your chest wasn't guarded, pow, if somebody caught you off guard. Or Yellow Jacket, if you said something with a B and you didn't say Yellow Jacket, like every time you said a B, you had to say Yellow Jacket. For every B that was in the word. And you got somebody waiting on you for missing a B. As soon as you stop, bow, Yellow Jacket. And they can't hit you back because you said Yellow Jacket. You just had to walk away with that lump on your arm.
We had gum. You remember this, Kane? We had gum that was
Bigly
shaped
chew.
like cigarettes, and you could pretend to puff on it, and it would poof out.
That wasn't gum. That was them chalky stick. Them chalky. I don't even know what that candy was, but it was chalky.
Powdered sugar.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
We had that. It was amazing. And we were
Oh, she talking about the gum that had the paper around it that actually, it had enough space in it you could blow out forward and it would look like a cigarette was smoking. I forgot about those. Damn. If you get that paper wet, it was hard to get off. Damn. Or sometimes the sugar inside the wrapper got wet and it made the paper hard to get off. So you had to chew paper too. That's crazy.
considered the lost generation, except as Tolkien brilliantly put it, not all who wander are lost. And we're just practical. Like, we are the weird generation. We were raised by we were somewhat raised by the greatest generation who witnessed the boomer generation's kind of neurosis.
Yep.
And so I think that kind of kept us on the straight and narrow because the greatest generation was our grandparents.
Yep.
It was sort of a saving grace. But for the most part, we were made very self-sufficient and very resourceful
resilient.
and very wily. And we were all comfortable at being ignored. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's not a made-up thing. That's a very real thing. Business Insider. This is
It's an actual thing. Please ignore me.
actual headline from some years ago. Nobody is talking about Gen X, and Gen Xers like it that way.
That is absolute truth. Leave me the hell alone. I got other stuff to do. I'm enjoying my time without you sitting here doing whatever the hell you doing in my way. You know, type of shit.
They want to be left alone. In fact, they didn't even want to be interviewed for the story, which was the funny part about that. I mean, you guys remember political surveys that would look at all of the demographics and they'd skip Gen X and we'd kind of roll our eyes. They go right from boomers to millennials and we'd roll our eyes and do
All the time.
whatever. But we didn't want to get involved until the left slipped off the spectrum of reason.
Oh my God.
And when that happened, we kind of had to, because we're raising Gen Z and the alpha generation.
Ooh. And if you know what a YN is, ooh. YNs. We got the generation of YNs. We was latchkeys, they got YNs.
And we had these far left, neo Tipper Gore types that wanted
Tipper
to slap
Gore.
trigger warnings on everything. And they promoted the idea that somehow being offended is more dangerous to society than not being able to afford a house until you're maybe 40.
Dang.
And that's not made up. That's not a made up statistic, by the way. I did bring the
It's
receipts. CBS, NBC, Forbes, Wall Street Journal. The average age of the first-time homebuyer is 40 years old. And it's climbing higher. The average age of homebuyers just last year was 56, a record high.
Damn.
In fact,
Thank you, Biden.
it's up. It's so the elevated mortgage rates, everything. And previously it used to be the average age was 49 years old. Now it's 54. All of this is why Gen X, all of this and more is why Gen X mobilized, because we weren't we were kind of a silent generation to vote Democrats out into oblivion. And it wasn't just a rejection of the far left regulated insanity of these Marxists, the stuff that's like DEI, the lawlessness and the disorder of an open border and restorative justice. It was a direct rebuke of the policies we had to grow up under.
And it was a loss of common damn sense. That's why Trump is talking about we're the party of common sense. Think about what the hell was going on. A lot of people was all caught up in this Kamala stuff, but what was she really saying? Nothing. Nothing, not a damn thing. She sounded like that mayor or governor out in LA when she got questioned by Trump the other day. I think I might run a video on that. I seen that. It was entertaining. That's how you handle business on somebody who's falling off. She got people killed, and she talk about what we have is blah blah blah. What we plan to. We've been talking. Come on now.
Of the leftist boomer policies that destroyed the family unit,
man,
during our formative years.
Welfare.
And that's true. I can cite you numerous studies. We're called the divorce generation.
That's crazy.
Wall Street Journal, 2011. Having survived their own family splits, Generation X parents are determined to keep their marriages together. We have a lower divorce rate than boomers do. It was incredibly shaping of our formative years. These policies also completely robbed our children's ability to buy a house.
Man, that generational hurt. Ooh, hey, that's what we had to get this stuff going. We got to get back to this golden age mission. Trump got the right vision. He might be a boomer, but he got the right vision. And now J.D. Vance, I believe he may be Gen X or millennial. I think he's millennial. He's only like 40 or something like that or something, right? I have to look that up again. But I'm cool with it because he got common sense. We have Tulsi Gabbard as a VP with JD as the president. We have an American president named JD. How American do it get than that? JD. He might as well be nicknamed JR or something like that. Like, what was that show? Dynasty or Falcon Crest or something like that?
And this established hedonistic movement, it grew to rob our daughters of fair play and treatment in sports. It birthed the third and the fourth wave feminist movements that abuse our sons as toxic for simply embracing masculinity.
And that was total bullshit.
So that's what that was. It was a giant middle finger to the lefty boomer policies.
Yep.
That made our formative years, both, there was a silver lining, it was good and bad. And that was the consequence of the left going too far. It was a consequence of the left pushing too hard, taking too much. People who just wanted to be left alone, you wouldn't leave them alone. Audio Soundbite 9. Now you have this simple Jack on MSNBC talking about this exact topic. Listen.
Yet it was the hip-hop and Hulk Hogan generation.
Oh, my God. Not this freaking lady. I cannot stand Joy Reid. She be coming up with some of the most ridiculous. How are you even thinking this way? Ridiculous crap. Let's see what this was. Man, she almost had me come out of tongue.
The F Your Feelings latchkey kids who came up on Dynasty, Dallas, and The Apprentice.
Damn, I was just talking about those shows. What the?
Who were the lone age group that voted in a majority for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
A majority of Gen X voted to turn America into an autocracy.
Yeah. Now, see, what you did was you mentioned Trump's show, The Apprentice. I learned a lot of business stuff from that show. I'll be straight up with you. I learned a lot of business stuff from that show. I got a lot of business ideas from that show. And right now, I'm in business thanks to that show. Because of the little small stuff I picked up that made me look up the other stuff that turned into bigger stuff. And you know why I don't pay a whole lot in taxes? Because I learned what Trump was talking about when they asked him, how come you don't pay taxes? And he said, because I'm smart. And I'm like, well, if he's smart, then he looked up something and found something. I need to get into this tax code. So then I got into a tax code, and now I have a business that I do tax liens. You know, I manage tax liens on houses and stuff. Taxes, if you know what you're doing, it could benefit you. If you don't, you're going to benefit somebody else. Learn the game. Stop being lame. Learn the game. And then back to this chick.
And to condemn our kids and grandkids to a far-right Supreme Court, probably for the rest of their lives.
The fun thing about Gen X is we understand what the hell the word autocracy means.
Right.
We're
educated.
spend our time growing up talking to ourselves in the mirror into a hairbrush like Joy Reid clearly did, because we spent our time reading books and doing cool stuff and kicking ass. That's what we did.
Yep.
And we were tired of it. You know, you don't get to barge in and tell us we have to use certain pronouns and then disenfranchise us and then rob our kids of actual equality when it comes to playing sports, tank the economy and drive up divorce rates. You don't get to do that.
I was out of that as soon as them motherfuckers tried to tell me that you are a them. Like, who's them? The first time I ran into this, I'm identify as they. You got a group with you or something? Well, what? They. It's my pronoun. Pronoun? What are you talking about? The real life encounter. I'm a they. No, you're a single person. What are you talking about? Where's the rest of your party? What are we doing here? Literally got pissed off. I go by them. They, them. Well, where's the rest? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, how are you getting snappy at me? And what the hell are you talking about? You're not a they, them. You're not asexual. You're a human mammal. Now, what you want to label it is, your body still functions as one of two human mammals. One of two. You can cut off all the shit you want. You still function as one of two human mammals. You take all these drugs and stuff, your body still desires to go back to what it does naturally, which is one of those two human mammals. We have male and female. And it's ridiculous that it had to be a law stating that we have male and female. That is absolutely, utterly absurd. Like, what the hell? What's going on here? And then we got a president who has topless transgenders on the front lawn of the White House. What was that, a 4th of July picnic or something like that? Some kind of celebration they had like 2-3 years ago?
What is the Biden White House doing? Watch for yourself.
Can we take a little video? Hi, Mr. President. Hi, how are you? It is an honor. Trans rights are human rights. Oh, it's a video. Oh, it's a video.
The monument is up, right?
Gay news.
Are we topless at the White House?
So that video clip was posted on TikTok by a trans influencer called Rose Montoya. And yes, there you see it. It shows topless transgender activists proudly taking off their clothes on the south lawn of the White House. Critics are blasting the incident, calling it an international embarrassment and a disgrace. The 27-year-old trans activist, who was a biological male, was invited as a guest for an event celebrating Pride Month on Saturday. Montoya even meeting, shaking hands, and taking selfies with the president and first lady shortly before baring his fake breasts for the world to see, with the White House, by the way, in full view behind him. Biden addressed the LGBTQ crowd on Saturday, calling them an example for the world.
Craziness. I was out of that. I was convinced then that everybody who voted for Biden did the wrong shit. I've gotten over my Trump deranged syndrome back in 20 2017, 2018, something like that. Probably sooner than that. Because I know in 2008, I was not feeling nothing that was Trump. I was straight up Obama. I was an Obama person. Obama. I voted for him because of color in the first one. I got caught up in the color politics on the first Obama vote. The second time I voted for Obama was because he had a relatively decent first presidency. So I was like, he didn't get us into no major yada yada yadas. You know, some stuff did happen. But it wasn't like George Bush. Shit. All right, I'm yapping.
Without any kind of pushback. That's not what an autocracy is. Do you realize the absolute stupid irony of this broad talking about autocracy while lamenting the results of a free and fair election? Someone take the vodka from under her desk, please.
The vodka. Her and Kamala drinking buddies.
You can't ignore Gen X anymore, as much as Gen X would like to be ignored. Gen X isn't you and they don't want to be.
Nope.
And that's the truth of it. It was Gen X's revenge and trying to set it straight for Gen Z and Gen Alpha so they don't have to suffer with the consequences of these horribly hedonistic, indulgent policies that kicked off with the greatest generation's kids, the leftists. And I'm going to say it one last time. I've always said lefty boomer. There are conservative boomers that have been just as screwed over. But unless you're a lefty boomer, this doesn't apply to you. But by God, I'm not going to pretend that that generation and the leftist policies that blossomed in it did not happen.
Oh, it damn sure happened. We seen it.
Just like I'm not going to pretend that Joe Biden, if he fell down, couldn't get up without assistance.
Oh, that dude. That whole Joe Biden thing was a whole symbol that America was tripping.
But that's the truth of it. And I dare say, I keep seeing studies that say Gen Z and Alpha, like they might be more. Gen Z is, they're a smart aleck generation. Why? Because they were raised by Gen X.
And I'm going to tell you, my son is straight smart ass. Get on my fucking nerves sometimes.
We don't claim millennials. Millennials, you know who they are? They were our stepkids or our stepsisters and stepbrothers or half brothers and half sisters from our parents' like second and third marriages. That's who they are.
I don't have the parents of second and third marriages, but I know a lot of friends that's in that boat.
Those are the children from the boomers' second family, the lefty boomers' second family.
After the divorce, yo, that's crazy.
The late bloomer boomers. That's who they are. So we don't claim them. We don't know them. I don't know you. I don't know you. Thanks for watching the Dana.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, that was Gen X making a statement known. We are not pleased with what the hell was going on with this Joe Biden thing. We remember things from back in the 80s. We remember how stuff was like back in the 80s. We know where you should stop your fucking whining and get up and do something normal. That whole, what was that dude's name? Moldavia or Mulvaney or something like that. Mulvaney with the Bud Light. That shit was wild. I'm just saying, that's when you really got on Gen X's nerves, is when you start messing with the beer. Anyway, I'm out. It's your boy, OG, that homie. You know me. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow this thing. So help a brother out. Oh, that's old boy stuff. God, I'm used to saying that because it's just normal to say, but that's dude's thing on his channel. Ah. All right. Deuces.